welcome back to the Champ.ie podcast as we preview in-depth Newmarket this weekend. Of course, Newmarket Guineas weekend. We have the 2000 on Saturday and the 1000 on Sunday. Delighted to be joined by Thomas Coyle, dual-purpose trainer from Batterstown, County Meath. Thomas, it's your first appearance on the Flat podcast. Lovely horse in the background. How are you doing?
Good, all good. How are you?
Not too bad, and delighted. Some of you guys might recognise the voice of Mr. Mike Vince, SIS commentator, and of course race course track presenter. Mike, it's great to have you on the podcast.
And great to be with you. Thank you very much for asking me. I hope everybody's well.
How's things been in lockdown, Mike? Have you enjoyed the break? Ready to go again?
Long is the word. Put it this way, the thing that I ended up thinking is, how did the Chief Constable of Midsummer keep his job? I think I've watched every Midsummer Murders. There's about 4 murders a night. The Chief Constable keeps his job. Friday the
5th of June, lads, we'll get straight into the action. We've a cracking Coronation Cup, Stradivarius, Anthony Van Dyke. We've nine Group 1ers between the lot of them. Mike, have you an opinion on this one? I suppose that Charlie Appleby's Globetrotter has handled the Roadie Mile before. He's 5-4 favourite.
Well, it's a fascinating race, isn't it? As much as anything, because I think you and I were both at school the last time Stradivarius went over 1.5 miles. I mean, he stays longer than the mother-in-law, and that is one of his great strengths. But they've had to try and find a race for him because John Gosden didn't want to go to Ascot to try and win a 3rd Gold Cup in a row on a seasonal reappearance. Interesting, of course, this race normally run at Epsom, where it gets lost in all the Derby stuff. And this is an absolutely vintage renewal because you haven't mentioned Anthony Van Dyke, of course, who won the Derby at Epsom last June. And it's going to be very interesting to see how he goes because it might give us a clue as to how far forward Aidan O'Brien's horses are, clearly with the Guineas in mind, because we haven't got any evidence ever to go on. Too short for Stradivarius. I like Defoe. I think he's a rock solid. Reminds me of the mother-in-law. He's very strong, very determined, very battle-hardened, and normally gets his way. So I'm a Defoe fan. Gayeth I like a lot. And Stradivarius, well, it's hard to say he'll come on for a run when he's won, £2 million and Lord knows how many Group 1s. But everybody being left in no doubt, this is a stepping stone towards the Gold Cup at Ascot. And the other thing is Broome in there to make the running? I don't know. That's the second chance.
Fascinating renewal, but I suppose Charlie Appleby, he hasn't had many runners actually since racing return. I think he's 5, but his stable obviously are in good form. 1 winner and 1 second from the 5, so it could be the start of a big weekend. I am a fan of Gayeth. What about you, Thomas? I suppose can Stradivarius serve it up to him? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'd agree with Mike. I think it's far too short from the most interesting thing, probably just for me, the favourite, the Godolphin horse. Like, he is top rated, but he did get his last run in Maidan was the 20th of February. So he is a little bit more race fit than other horses that have come back from, like Anthony Van Dyke that went to the Hong Kong Vase late last year and things like that. Yeah, he definitely deserves to be favourite. As Mike says, Stradivarius is too short for him, for me. But I think Anthony Van Dyke is probably, I think he's 7 or 8 to 1. He's probably a bit advanced in this race, being a Derby winner. He probably was very unlucky in Santa Anita in the turf. He just didn't get the clear run when he needed it. Ryan kind of switched to the inside and got held up. I think he was only beaten 1.5 lengths in the end. As Mike said, it's interesting to see how far Aidan's horses are on, but we've all seen these pictures go viral of his gallop, and they're getting days away. I'm pretty sure if anyone in Ireland's going to be ready, it's going to be Aidan O'Brien. So at the price, I think Anthony Van Dyke is probably more value at 7 or 8 to 1 than back in the Godolphin horse at 5 to 4.
Yeah, I just think the favourite will be hard to beat, but your mention value, plenty of good horses in there, as I said, 9 Group 1 winners between the lot of them. Coming on to Saturday, the 2000 Guineas, the big one, lads, I suppose. What I want to ask the two of you guys is, where's the standout value? So much has been spoke about Pinatubo. He's rated 125 now. I suppose best price 5 to 6. He's been so strong in the market. The ground is obviously going to suit him. Mike, I'll come to you first, I suppose. How does he compare? Is this the first of all, actually, this must be the first Newmarket 2000 Guineas that you've missed for quite some time. How does he compare to, I suppose, previous champion 2-year-olds going into the Guineas?
Well, I was one of the lucky ones, wasn't I? I was at the Curragh on the day he won the National Stakes, and he beat two of Aiden's, and of course the horse that finished third was Arizona, who then got closer to him in the Dewhurst. He's going to have yet another try on Saturday. And of course that performance got slightly lost because it was that incredible day when we had the Race of Champions and AP McCoy and all that. But it was one of the great demolition jobs, and all the form ties in. He's got the beating of almost everything on that basis. But you are taking a chance with any horse first time out. And here's an interesting stat. Only once in the last 10 years has a Newmarket trained horse won the Guineas. Okay, the value of the stats is slightly questionable because obviously normally the Guineas is run either right at the back end of April or right at the start of May. But only Hugo Palmer with Galileo Gold, as I think I'm right in saying, has won it since Frankel to keep the prize at Newmarket. But he ticks all the boxes for me. And that's it. I can't, you're looking for some line of form to think, he's there to be shot at. He's got the beating on last year's form in a combination of particularly the National Stakes and then the Dewhurst. If you work in the lines of form, he's got them all beat. But is he going to be sharp enough to do it on day one? This is the biggest, I think it's the most difficult Guineas to weigh out for years for that very reason. And is there a Springer in there? I don't think so. But, I will not be moved from Pinatubo. I think he's a machine, and what he did at the Curragh that day will live very, very long in the memory.
So you haven't even looked for an alternative, Mike Vince. You're with Pinatubo till the death. Thomas, where I suppose when it comes to horses training on from a trainer's perspective from 2 to 3, would it be ideal actually in the fact that he's had, I think, 6 runs in total, or how would you see that? In terms of his experience.
Yeah, look, he's plenty of experience. He's 6 from 6, as you say. As Mike said, that day the Curragh was unbelievable. He was electric. I think the only reason Arizona probably got closer to him in the Dewhurst was because the ground was soft. But that day in the Curragh, he was electric. Look, me, he is probably going to be the winner. Just one maybe at a big price that might slot in. You might get 4 places on the day, maybe 3. But Richard Hannon's Mum's Tipple. He won his first 2 starts. He won a stakes race. It was the Ireland's race in York. It was a 21 runner race. He won by 11 lengths. You don't see too many horses winning by 11 lengths over 6 furlongs. He bet a horse, Rainey, who's rated 97, I think. So on the form, probably not the worst. He then went for a Group 1, but at the Middle Park Stakes, he was laying post race, so maybe you could put a line through that. So he could be one. I think he's 33 or 50 to 1. He might be worth a few bob each way, maybe, looking for a bit of
that
value.
performance actually at York, I remember the aftermath. I think he was getting good quotes for the Guineas at that point, and then obviously went on to take on, and it was,
and he was only 3 to 1, like, for a Group 1 race, like, which means he wasn't a forlorn hope in that. He was lame after the race as well, so he, at 33, 50 to 1 could be a little bit of value, but for me, Pinatubo is going to win this race.
And which Thomas must actually ask. Yeah.
If I can throw in, and that is that if you looked at the Guineas form through the years, very seldom do the first 3 favourites fill the first 3 positions. Something at a huge price does come in to the money. And I think last year it was the Hannon horse King of Change.
Yeah, the one
won an egg and spoon race in Nottingham and ended up finishing second.
Yeah, the one thing about the Hannon horse is stamina is a doubt. Like, it's been 6 furlongs, the 3 races. So will he stay? It's a doubt. But look at them.
His York form, his York race was just extraordinary. There is a completely unexposed one. Interesting that Jim Crowley's picked up the right on this Cephas of Brian Meehan's to see the Stars Colt, who won his only race at Newmarket in August, and he's an even bigger price. Yeah. But wouldn't it be at all surprising to see something at 20 to 1 or bigger in the money? The only question, on the basis of what's happened in Guineas in years gone by, the problem is trying to work out which one.
Exactly.
Which one it is? Well, it's actually the 2 of you guys are after mentioning 2 horses there. Andrew Blair White, we had him on the podcast earlier in the week for the Flat Prize, and he likes Roger Thiel's horse by a Japanese sire. The name actually escapes me. But Yeah, another big price for the Skinnies. Personally, I was going to ask you, Thomas, actually, which of the O'Brien horses would you, I suppose, all the money obviously came for Arizona. Has Ryan Moore made the right choice? Because I personally like Wichita.
Yeah, well, there isn't a whole lot like between the two horses in the due horse form, so it's whichever one is trained on. Obviously Ryan's going to have the call, so of course you're going to fancy him a little bit, Arizona a bit more. So but there wouldn't be a whole lot. Look, Frankie is no bad substitute to have on the other one, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I just think he was the less exposed of the two. He's had 4 runs. He was supplemented after winning. He was supplemented after winning so impressively at Newmarket. He was supplemented for the Dewhurst. I thought he hated the ground that day, and I think the way the ground is looking now, good to firm. He's already ran well on good to firm on his second start at Doncaster. So I just think he could progress into a good miler this year. Obviously, the sire's an unknown, no nay never, relatively new and was a sprinter himself. But I just think he could be the one of O'Brien's to hit the frame. And he's the one I'm actually going to side with each way. Far too short, Mike Vince Pinatubo for me. He's the value. Frankie on top as well, as we said. Mike, I want to just ask you very quickly about the Derby contender who runs actually at the 3 o'clock, which is before the Guineas. He runs Waldkonig. Is 10-1 actually now, and there's been a support for him for the Derby by Kingman out of a Monson mare. What was your thoughts on him? I suppose he won at Wolverhampton of all places. Would that make him a Derby contender?
Well, that's typical Shetland, isn't it? Pack him and his L plates off to some little all-weather track somewhere. And win easily, and then he leaves junior school and goes to senior school. Interesting against him is a horse called Vulcan Star of Godolphins that's been gelded and would have a chance on its best form last season. But by Kingman, you immediately think trip, don't you?
Yeah.
The positives are we know that Gosden horses are running well. I've just been going through the entries looking for the stable cat because so many horses of theirs have been winning. I couldn't be having him that short on seasonal debut over this trip. And again, because we don't know an awful lot about some of these horses, again, no guaranteed pace. It might turn into a muddle and it might turn into a sprint. We're going to be saying probably the same thing about the Gosden horse when we come to talk about the Dahlia Stakes on Sunday. But for me, I'll watch. I certainly don't plan to get involved.
Just one in that, Barry. Is the Queen's horse Andrew Baldwin trained?
Second favourite.
Yeah, Punctuation. I think Oisin Murphy rides it. He was very impressive. I know we're talking about Wolverhampton. We're talking about Kempton here as well. He's had 2 runs in Kempton, but like he's won by 11 lengths the last day, and it's just that factor as well. His second run was the 20th of February. He's just going to have that little edge having a run this season. I think there has been money from 10s into 6s, so he could be interesting off that with Oisin Murphy aboard.
And the other thing, in good form.
Yeah,
they've been having winners this week.
They have 2 winners yesterday, of course, Mike. But as we're recording, the Waldkonig actually. Just one thing about him. I know you said he's by Kingman. I think there is stamina on the dam side, but just the way he's shaped, I thought he bent his knee quite high. You know, just for Epsom and the undulations, and even for Newmarket this weekend, I definitely think he's on the short side, as Thomas said. And moving on, lads, 1,000 guineas on Sunday. It's the 3 o'clock at Newmarket. I'm going to press you for selections, but I want to ask you, first of all, I suppose no peaceful from an Aidan O'Brien point of view. He's trained 3 of the last 5 winners. Love is the only one in here that he runs in the 1,000 guineas. The favourite for me, Mike, is Short. I think you agree.
Yes, and interesting that Roger Charlton saying that the horse is going to come on for the run, which is an interesting thing if you're coming on for the run in a classic. And in the words of the song, love is all you need. I mean, the filly is a Group 1 winner, isn't she? And she's the one that, to me, will take all the beating. But there are a couple here that are quite interesting in terms of those that we don't know a great deal about. And, of course, this is the hardest part about it. We've got no classic trials to sort of take into the mix to give us any ideas. But I actually thought that the Mark Johnston horse is a big price, Rose of Kildare. And also, what's Frankie doing on a 16-1 shot called Shimmering? I would love to see Jesse Harrington win it with Mill Isle, but Quadrilateral with a tongue strap against Love. For me, it's 6 Love here that wins.
That's 6 Love.
Horse number 6, called Love.
Yeah. Thomas, Jessica Harrington's filly here.
Yeah,
She
that she got Oisin Murphy as well to ride. I thought Shane Foley might have rode because he's won the Group 1s on him already. But
I think Shane his eyes are on next weekend for the 1000.
Oh yeah. But what a substitute to get, champion jockey. Look, he'd be great. He's rated 115. But I just thought there's one horse in it. I thought Mike was going to steal my thunder when he said Mark Johnson. But I like Raffle Prize. The big doubt, obviously, is will she stay? Like she's Queen Mary winner over 5 and that. But she in the Cheveley Park that Mill Isle won, she actually missed the break and she was in front after like 2.5 furlongs. She must have a ridiculous amount of speed. But and one thing about Mark Johnson is you always associate him with his horses staying. So I think she could be interesting. I think Michael Barcelona comes over for the ride after his audits during the week. So Mark Johnson, he's not putting her in there for no reason. I think she's 10 or 12 to 1. I would love to see Jesse's horse winning, but I just think that the Mark Johnson horse might turn the form on the Cheveley Park and could win the race in full.
Fair. I definitely couldn't have Jessie's filly anyway. I don't think she's going to stay. Mike, just interesting. Actually, I didn't know Quadrilateral is to wear a tongue strap. That's interesting. But I thought she would want a lot further anyway. Than obviously she won the fillies mile. She's by Frankel. I think the way she shapes, she took a good long time anyway to get herself straight that day, and obviously only got up on the line. That particular race, actually, the fillies mile, I think that holds a lot of the key, I suppose. The form of this race, Love as well was in there. Peaceful, I thought it was very disappointing. Obviously, she doesn't go here. Millay couldn't have. The one I liked, lads, was Cloak of Spirits. She's come back up to a mile here, which I thought would suit her at Doncaster. She won very impressive, Mike. I don't know what you would ask at that day on Good to Firm. Very strong traveller, but she's going to handle the ground. She likes it. She's a big enough filly as well, lads. And I think that if she, I suppose, grows into herself, obviously she's going to have extra time as well with the season obviously delayed. So I think it's interesting back up to a mile with her. I think 12 to 1 looks very good value on her. And Atzini, actually heard him speaking as well over the last week, and that he was pretty keen on her as well. Mike, had you thoughts on Cloak of Spirits?
I thought you put Spirits back in it actually, but no. In all seriousness, you wouldn't rule the horse out because again the yard is in good form, and that is very important. It's interesting, Frankie doing a jumping off a Royal Ascot wanted to get on shimmering for John Gosden and for the I wouldn't rule them out, but I just think here. The form is quite clear in favour of the Grade 1 of the Group 1 winners. Does Milal get the trip? That's question 1, and question number 2 is can Love step up? And it's very, very unusual for Aidan only to run 1. Yes, all right, everything's different this year in terms of the fact that we're just 7 days away from the Irish equivalent. But I'm really surprised, and I wouldn't have thought he was sending over an also ran.
Just one thing as well, and Mike could probably agree with me on this. The likes of Mill Isle and Raffle Prize, they're probably going for the English Guineas because Newmarket is probably a lot easier track than the Curragh. So if they are going to get a mile, they're more likely going to get it there than they are going to get it in the Curragh. So because it's a downhill run till they hit to the bushes, isn't it? So like it is probably if they are going to stay, they're going to stay it there. So.
And the other thing too, of course, is whether if you're going to send a horse over to Ireland, you're going to have to deal with all the quarantine situations and things like that. And that's why I'm wondering whether that's why Aidan's only sending the 1 because obviously he's putting Ryan Moore up on it. But if you were to send any of the British horses out to Ireland, that presents complications because bear in mind the Guineas in Ireland are Friday night and Saturday, and then the following Tuesday's Royal Ascot. So no jockey or trainer is going to want to go to Ireland the weekend before Royal Ascot, not the risk of missing those 5 days because they're enjoying the Irish hospitality, although it's legendary, in some hotel put up by the government.
Mike Vince, when are you going to come back over to Ireland? When do you think that is going to be possible?
I don't honestly know. I honestly don't know. I'm crying because I'm going to miss Killarney in July, which is always one of the highlights of my year. I missed Punchestown. Our horse, Cabaret Queen, is going to go for the Galway plate, but I can't go. If I'm putting my hand on heart, I hope that there will be a chance for crowds to be back by the time we get to Irish Champions Weekend in mid-September. They announced this back end of this week that they've now rejigged all the fixtures in Ireland, but I'm just wondering about 7 mixed days in Listowel in September. So watch this space, but hand on heart, I'm thinking I shan't sadly set foot on an Irish racecourse until at the earliest Champions Weekend, but how I would love to be wrong.
It'd be lovely to hear Mike Vince in the commentary box over at Killarney. I must say, 240 lads at Haydock. We must mention, we said we were going to touch upon it, the Gerard Stakes Group 3. Looks like another hot heat here, lads. Erlacam 3-1 best price. Sangarius and Bangkok is actually in here for the Andrew Balding team. Mike Vince, had you an opinion on the Gerard Stakes at Haydock?
Yeah. Penny for the thoughts of the legendary Sir Michael Stout, who, of course, is too old. He's not allowed to go racing because he's into his 70s. I still haven't found out who had to tell Jim Bolger he couldn't go racing in Ireland because he's too old. That's a phone call I wouldn't have liked to have had to make. But in all seriousness, Sangarius not been seen since winning the Hampton Court. The Brigadier Gerard, normally, of course, run at Sandown, goes to Haydock. And I think he's got a big chance. Danny Tuthope rides again. It's a decent renewal, but again, it's been run horribly short on time vis-a-vis the Prince of Wales is at Royal Ascot, which is in 10 days' time. It's competitive. How good a Group 3 it is, we'll see.
Thomas, had you an opinion?
The favourite on ratings, he's a few pound to spare. He had a fruitful last July. He won his listed race in a Group 2. He should be hard bet, really. I think he's 6-7 pounds clear the rest. Just the stout horse, I think he's in for Friday as well, though, isn't he? He has an entry for tomorrow. No.
Yeah, and the thing I mentioned about Elacam is, to me, the only negative about him is if this was York, I think he's a good thing. He does all his best running at York.
Yeah, true. Was the only one, but look, there's not a lot between them all. But I was just thinking on ratings, the favourite might have an enter or two to spare.
Yeah, he's running tomorrow at 3:00. My bad, missed that one. Lads, we're going to just touch, I suppose, on the Irish racing return on Monday. But first of all, I want to ask you, best bets of the weekend. Mike Vince, does it come in either of the Guineas, or where's Mike Vince looking to?
Well, there was one horse that I saw at the back end of last season. I put the mother and father of a P against as a horse I wanted to see come out and do a 3-year-old. It's a horse that runs in the Pretty Polly at Newmarket on Sunday. And that's a horse called Moonlight in Paris. John Gosden's got enough horses in that for the Monopolist Commission to be called. He's got about 4 runners in it. Frankie rides Tiempo Vuela, but Ryan Moore rides Moonlight in Paris. I'm fascinated by that. But I do think that Terabella, who was 5th in the Opera going in the Dahlia Stakes on Saturday, is going to be one for Dettori. But of course, would he do a flying dismount when there's nobody there? We shall see.
Thomas?
Look, I'm going to go for a bit of value in the 2,000 guineas. I'm going to put up Mum's Tipple. Hopefully that he'll stay. And the other one, I actually genuinely think Raffle Prize, just because it's Newmarket rounds quick, she could win the 1,000 guineas.
Fair enough. I'm going to put up Cloak of Spirits. Mike Vince reckoned I was taking some spirits by mentioning her. I thought, look, I think stepping up to a mile, I've discussed it already. I think she's a very good bet there at 12-1 now, best price. That's Cloak of Spirits for the Hannons on Sunday. And I also will take a stab at Wichita each way. Pinatubo obviously going to be very difficult to beat, but I think Wichita is going to be a good miler, whether it be, I suppose, early in the season or later on. I think he's one definitely to keep on the right side of this year. So I think he's good value as well at best price, 12 to 1 also each way. Thomas, racing returns on in Ireland at Naas on Monday. I suppose, have you many ready to go, or what's the plans in the Thomas Coyle Racing Yard?
Yeah, everyone's raring to go, and we're getting all these videos with all the protocols that we have to take to make sure that it goes off smoothly. But yeah, look, it's great. We can start planning away. Yeah, lucky enough, we've got a few for the flat this season, which I never thought would kind of happen. But I think we have 4 2-year-olds on the go at the minute. Two of them look like they're going to be early types as well, which is nice. They're two nice fillies. We've a couple of 3-year-olds ready to rock at the end of the month as well. A couple to be handicapped, just a bit backward than that. But yeah, no, there's 4 or 5 there for the flat ready for the end of the month. Be hoping we might squeeze a win or two out of one or two of them, and then the jumping starts July, and we have 4 or 5 summer jumpers in as well. Literally just back doing their first piece of work, and everything went good. So yeah, exciting times actually. Probably we're lucky enough that it's definitely the best bunch of horses we've ever had by a long shot, and exciting times. We got the alley came back in yesterday, and we got another nice mare that was placed in a couple of bumpers, and a maiden hurdle came yesterday as well. So
I believe you've become handy with the cement mixer as well over lockdown.
Yeah, the place has got a massive revamp. I don't think you recognise it when you come back. No, we're delighted. We fair play to the father. We got stuck in when this happened, and the place is kind of turned upside down. And yeah, no, we're flying. We've 18 boxes in now and a couple of paddocks to train horses out of. So we're ready and equipped for 20 horses, which hopefully it looks like by the end of August with the breakers and that coming back in, we'll have. So yeah, look, it's looking good, and we're happy the way things are going. And there's a bit of luck now and a couple of winners, and we might get going.
And Thomas, anything for Listowel? I know Mike mentioned he would love to get over to Listowel this year. Could we have? Could that be the next time us 3 meet in person?
Oh, please God, we could have a few runners down there, and we get Mike over if all allowing. And yeah, no, look, we're looking. We have a few nice horses, and we'd be looking. A few of them could be festival horses, maybe Galway and Listowel, Killarney's. That's the way we're aiming. So no, look, bit of luck as I say, and everything. And once the 4 wheels stay on the wagon, we'll have a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, it's exciting season ahead for Thomas Coyle Racing. Mike Vince, we look forward to having you on for quite a few episodes now over the summer for the Flat Podcast. It's been a pleasure, and I suppose the very best of luck with your punting over the weekend.
And I wish everybody in Ireland the best of luck for Monday. I suspect the biggest problem that they're going to have, bearing in mind, of course, they can't use Dundalk until the middle of July because of all the work is. How quick is that ground going to be? Because if anything like the weather has been in this country, it's been baked, leading to water. And I don't envy the task of the ground staff. So I hope they've done it well. I hope everybody above all, good luck for Monday. And of course, we all know the background against which we're going, but it'll just be nice to see the Irish people able to see their own horses in action. And I wish everybody the best of luck.
Brilliant stuff, Mike. Listen, that's a wrap, lads, for our Guineas weekend preview. For, I suppose, our listeners, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be back, as I say, on Thursdays to preview the racing upcoming on a weekly basis over the flat season. But lads, listen, thanks very much, and best of luck over the weekend.
Cheers, Barry.